Welcome back to Talk Shonen Podcast. My name's Turtle.
And I'm Jared.
This sexy motherfucker right here. My brain farted. Okay, so we're not talking about Batman and why he's not technically human, but that's gonna come.
I know we did mention that, but
well,
we're not doing that yet.
That's down the pipe, I promise.
Yes.
I have thought about that.
I've been thinking about it. Ever since editing that episode, I was like, he's not human.
Yeah, we said it, I was like, that's kind of funny, haha. But then, since then, I've been thinking back on moments in the comics I've read where I'm like,
yeah,
motherfucker's not human.
He's not human at all. But we are going to talk about someone very similar to Batman.
Oh, very much. Now I'm going to say something.
Okay.
He is very often said to be the Marvel Batman.
Yes.
But really, he is, especially in recent comics, has strayed far away from that. From that kind of
very
stereotype.
far away.
Yeah, he was kind of the Marvel Batman for a while.
And I mean, he does have some differences. Comic book fans probably know exactly who we're going to talk about.
They're like, it's Iron Man. No, it's not Iron Man.
Nah, it's not Iron Man.
That was Kyle.
Yeah, no, he's a firm believer that Iron Man is the Marvel Batman. But no, we are talking about another caped crusader who also now has a hood.
Say it isn't so.
And it is Moon Knight.
I don't know why I made that noise for Moon Knight.
Yeah. Moon Knight is he's a very interesting character. And there's reasons why he draws a lot of comparisons to Batman. Yeah. And it's because he's a guy.
He's a detective.
He's a really good detective. He's a very good fighter,
martial
hand-to-hand.
artist, yeah.
He has a lot of high-tech gadgets.
He does.
And he instills fear. And he's kind
big
of
on
crazy.
Fear. Oh, well, definitely insane.
Oh, he's well, technically we don't want to say insane because that has a bad connotation. He has mental mental issues.
It depends on what run of him you're reading too, because
more recently he's more insane.
Yeah. Earlier runs were vague on whether or not he's really
crazy.
Whether he's really crazy. Whether he really has dissociation disorder or whether or not he's just kind of it is magic or they kind of played the card loosey-goosey, maybe he's crazy, maybe it's real. Is he really talking to the god of the moon, or do you not know?
Very true.
Now it's he's definitely talking to the god of the moon, but he is also completely insane.
A very crazy person.
Yeah.
So basically Moon Knight is Mark Specter.
Yes.
And he's a mercenary.
Yes, he is.
He was a mercenary.
He is.
Well, no, we'll get to that. So he was. Okay. You're doing let's his pedigree.
We're talking about him because recently they just announced that Oscar Isaac, who I love,
I also love.
He's amazing.
He's
he was
an
Poe
incredible
Dameron.
Actor. Yes.
He was. Oh my God. He's the Gomez Adams I want.
Yeah, it's the Gomez Adams everybody wants.
Yeah, we've been calling for it for 5 to 10 years.
Everybody wants that to happen.
And the studios are just no.
They don't know
we'll do
what
a really
they're
crappy
about.
animated version that's I watched is awful.
I didn't watch it because I thought it would be awful.
It's awful. It finally aired free and we put it on and I was like, this is...
You're like, this isn't even worth free.
Yeah,
I should be paid to watch this.
This is taking my time from me. That's what... It had a couple of moments I did like. But
it's not
the
the same.
A good movie. No.
Also, the Addams Family it has to be live action. It's weird when it's like a
weird
cartoon.
To do the cartoon ones.
You got to have the real people. But I've liked Oscar Isaac in everything that he's been in, except for X-Men, where he was Apocalypse. I mean, and that it's not any real fault of him as an actor. It's a fault of costume design.
Yeah.
And
I was just gonna say
bad writing.
I loved him as Apocalypse. The way he acted him. Yeah. I didn't like the way they designed him.
How
I've
he
seen
looked.
better cosplays of Apocalypse than the movie version.
Incredible cosplay. Yeah. They have cosplays of Apocalypse that are actually 7 feet tall.
Hey, you know what this looks like? Apocalypse from the comic books. You know what that one looks like? Some dude who's loosely purple.
It's like some guy was like, I kind of look like that guy in the Apocalypse comic runs. I should do that.
Yeah, he was good in the movie, but not.
Yeah,
the character was a little weak anyway.
It was just a weak movie all around.
I mean, I had some moments I really enjoyed, but it was a lot of fan service moments, like the Quicksilver scene. Yeah, gets me always. I love Quicksilver in those movies.
He's incredible in those movies.
He's amazing, and Evan Peters.
We got you.
Words is fantastic.
Yeah.
He really nailed the Quicksilver I want. But back to Oscar Isaac. He was also in what's that one with the AI?
Oh, Ex Machina.
Thank you. I couldn't remember.
He was incredible in Ex Machina.
Love him in Ex Machina.
And then on top of that, he also he was incredible in like Sucker Punch.
Oh,
where he was the bad guy.
He was,
and he was really good.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was really good at like giving you that. And I think this is probably why they're considering him for Moon Knight. He was really good at calmly instilling fear in someone.
100%.
But when he loses his shit, you're like, oh, that guy's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why they're considering it.
Yeah. He's a very, I mean, Oscar Isaac is an excellent actor with a broad range. They need someone for Moon Knight that can pull off controlled insanity.
Yeah.
And that is Oscar Isaac.
And which is why when I heard, like, when you sent me the thing on Facebook saying that he was going to be that he signed on, right?
Yeah.
That he actually did sign on.
He announced he's doing it or whatever.
So when I saw that, like, I immediately thought of Sucker Punch because I was like, he's kind of a bad guy, but not a bad guy in the normal sense. Yeah. He's a psychological bad guy. And that's kind of what Moon Knight is. He's not, like, Moon Knight's kind of an anti-hero.
He started as a bad guy.
Well, because he was a mercenary.
No. That was, I mean, he was a mercenary. Yeah, but that's not. His first comic was like a Wolfman comic, and he was a bad guy.
Yeah, because he was hunting.
He was hunting the werewolf.
A werewolf, basically.
Yeah, basically that was a good guy, just a werewolf.
Yeah,
and he had silver stuff, and they kind of like threw this motif together with the whole moon thing.
Yeah,
and then the writers were like, "I like that. Let's keep doing it, but we should make
him gooder.
Yeah, make him better." And then they did, and he's gone through a couple of iterations.
Yeah,
but so we're talking about it because Oscar Isaac is signed on as Moon Knight for a Disney Plus
series, right?
Yeah, Disney Plus show.
Yeah,
which I'm stoked about.
I'm pumped.
Disney
for
Plus has been
after Mandalorian. I'm like, they could do whatever they want. Just
like
go for it.
Oscar Isaac doing Moon Knight. I'm in. As long as they. And that's the thing this is why it's going to be beautiful. Moon Knight has many iterations.
Yes.
There's been lots of different kind of versions of him.
Yeah.
Depending on who's writing it.
It's because they constantly keep trying to make it right. Like, because when they release it, they're like, this is good for when we released it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't read well.
No.
Like, after you read, like, the older ones, you're like, yeah. So then they revamp, and they're kind of like, okay, same basic story. Same basic thing. Yep. We're gonna try to flesh out the character more. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, same basic story, We're going to get rid of some of the superpowers, which is the main way he differs from Batman, because he did have superpowers.
Have powers on and off. And not just a little power.
He had, like, a lot.
He was we're going to get into that.
Yeah. We'll talk about, like, how he was created and stuff like that.
But so I think they could do a lot with this because that it leaves them open for a lot of vague interpretation.
Yeah.
Or entire reinvention for the show.
Just as long as they keep, I feel and I kind of feel like, what they learned with releasing The Mandalorian will help them here, where they can go, okay, we have all of this lore, all of this history, we can take it and we can put our spin on it to make it better.
Yeah,
because that's what they did.
I really hope they do double down on the multiple identities thing.
Yeah, the fact that he's a hero with DID is
now whether or not they give him actual DID, because it's also kind of been disputed whether it's real DID or whether he's just taking out personas.
We're gonna go into that because I even have my own questions about that.
Oscar Isaac is definitely the person to play someone who plays, whether it's real DID or dissociative identity disorder. Yeah, or
whether multiple personality disorder,
or whether it's just identities he takes on to play his roles. I think Oscar Isaac can nail it, because one of them is a cab driver that's how he knows the criminal element.
Yeah.
One of them is a rich financier. Yeah.
And then there's him.
And then there's Mark Spector, the main one.
Who's just
and there's Moon Knight. There's technically 4.
So technically 4, yeah.
Because Moon Knight comes in later in the comics. It is an entirely different personality. Like, Batman's crazy because Batman is Batman who plays Bruce Wayne.
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Mark Spector, Jake Langley, thank you.
Yeah. I have them all written down. Stephen Grant, I think is what it is.
Stephen Grant is his rich one.
Stephen Grant.
And Moon Knight.
And Moon Knight.
They, in multiple runs of the comics.
Lockley, sorry, not Langley.
And they are different people completely. Most of the comics.
Different ways of speaking, different ways of carrying themselves.
And Bruce Wayne does, or Batman does that as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But he's Bruce Wayne for a couple hours a week.
Yeah.
And he's just Batman.
Yeah.
This guy is all over the place.
Yeah, Moon Knight or Mark Specter mentally compartmentalizes who he's being at the time, and he is invested in that.
It's Oscar Isaac.
I think he can do it really, really well.
I mean, look at his characters like we were talking about, like Sucker Punch, Ex Machina, Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
The fact that we think
Apocalypse.
The fact that we think he could play Gomez Adams should show you.
Yeah, he has comedic chops. He was in Triple Frontier, which was a very action-based one, whereas he was a mercenary basically.
Okay. No, so that's right up the alley.
It was Ben Affleck, Charlie Dunham. It was Oscar Isaac.
What happened to Charlie Dunham? He just fell off the face of the earth, didn't he?
He's doing some things here and there. I mean,
he probably made enough money that he's just like
nothing super duper bit. Like he did that King Arthur movie that kind of fell flat. It was not.
I loved him in Pacific Rim.
It just wasn't good.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was great in Pacific Rim. He was great in obviously Sons of Anarchy. He's probably making money off the Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, he's got money hand over fist.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's just like doing stuff he wants to do at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So in Triple Frontier, it's like Ben Affleck was in it. He was like a big part, and also what's the guy who plays the Mandalorian? You're telling me? Pablo. Yeah, or Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. That's it.
He was in it also. So it's all of these guys, and they're basically like friends.
So what
were
you're
all
telling
mercenaries.
me is that Moon Knight worked with Batman.
Yes.
And the Mandalorian. What the fuck kind of crossover?
And King Arthur.
This is the crossover we need.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. So I mean, and he did very good in that. He held his own. I watched it. Like it took me a little bit to watch it because the story was kind of like but like the action was cool and it was well written in spots.
I know there's other stuff he's been in that I can't put my finger on.
I went through his entire IMDb and I was like, he's been in a lot of stuff that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
like he's been in a lot of like movies that are very niche.
Yeah.
Or like foreign films and stuff like that. So he's been in a decent amount of stuff. It's just not always things that we would have seen.
Yeah. Which also something that's interesting that kind of goes with the background on this is Mark Specter is Jewish. His father was a rabbi that ran away from the
actually
Holocaust.
was one thing that I was like,
but Oscar Isaac is half Jewish.
Is he half Jew? Because I know he's Cuban.
Yep,
he's half Cuban. And I knew
half
he was
Cuban, half Jew.
Oh man. That
works
plays
out
perfectly.
It. I mean, you don't need that to be playing the character,
but I mean,
it
helps
helps to have the background and some of the knowledge with it.
Yeah, you can have matzo ball soup, and he's like, just like Grandma used to make.
But why is that what you went for? Just
I don't know.
Matzo ball, just like my grandma.
I've never had matzo ball soup.
I love matzo ball soup.
It seems like it'd be great, and I really want to have it.
Matzo ball soup is basically just
chicken and dumpling soup,
it's
right?
Chicken soup with like cracker meatballs. Like there's no meat in the meatballs. They're just like cracker balls.
Oh. I'm going to have matzo ball soup at some point.
I love matzo ball soup.
If anybody wants to send some in.
Don't send us matzo ball soup.
Yeah,
we'll make it ourselves.
It'll be poison at that point.
I'm trying to get my friend to make it. My friend does really good soups.
We'll have to do that.
And like, I really want a good matzo ball soup. And I was like, you should make this for me. And he's like, why don't you just get it from somewhere around here that does it good? And I was like, because nowhere around here does it good.
We're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
I'm not going to drive to New York.
I can't get good matzo ball soup here.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So yeah, that's a helpful thing, I guess. Him being part like goes Jewish.
Along with it.
Yeah. So we should probably explain how who Moon Knight is and how he became. You started going into it. He was a Marine.
Okay, so yeah, he started as well. First, actually, I lied. I jumped the gun a little bit.
Okay.
So he grew up. His father. This is a brief. I'm gonna go super fast.
Yeah, we'll speak.
His father ran away from the Holocaust to America. Mm-hmm. Mark Specter, thought his father was a coward for running from it instead of fighting it. Ended up going into boxing and was a boxer. A good boxer.
Yes.
Then became a Marine.
And he was in Force Recon.
Then he became a mercenary because he got disillusioned with it after a bunch of stuff happened in Force Recon.
And when he was a mercenary, he did a lot of work with the CIA.
Yes. He was a mercenary and a CIA contractor.
Yeah.
And then he became
just pretty much a private contractor.
He did everything
until he became
Moon Knight. And he only became Moon Knight because he was doing a job. This dude fucked around and killed him or beat him. No, left him to die.
Yeah.
And
in the elements.
In the elements. And the person that he like kind of stood up for, or the daughter of the person he stood up for.
Yeah, because he killed the doctor that was with him. Yes. And he stood up for the daughter.
And the daughter dropped his body in front of a statue of Khonshu.
There was technically other people that helped move him.
The group of them he stood up for placed his body in front of the statue of Khonshu because
the Egyptian god of the moon, and a spirit of vengeance.
Yeah, so the Egyptian god of like it's like a 4-aspect god.
Yeah,
which plays into his 4 personalities.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
That makes perfect sense.
Like the moon, vengeance, madness, and like something.
And there's like one other aspect.
I don't remember what it is, but and magic or something like that. But it's something like that. I can't remember now, but.
And the color white.
Yeah. And so he's revived by Khonshu on the terms that he'll be his avatar on the earthly plane.
And what's even better than that is the name that Khonshu kind of had him take, which was the Fist of Vengeance. I'm like, that is a great title. I want to have a title like the Fist of Vengeance.
By the way, if you look up some of Moon Knight's other names, like his pseudo aliases, clearly the writers are having a laugh at Batman, because like one of them's like the Cowled Crusader, instead of the Caped Crusader, and like the world's semi-best detective and stuff like that. Like I made that one up.
One of the world's best detectives.
There's a bunch of them that are like, this is clearly a nod. Like for instance, one of his tools is called the Moonerang.
The Moonerang,
and it's like.
Yeah.
But it, like I said, it does move away from that towards later, newer comics. But it definitely kind of played into the Batman, the Batman.
You can because he was created after Batman.
Oh yeah,
because Batman was created so early.
Batman was created forever ago.
Yeah, so they definitely were like, we need a Batman. And they were like, well, we can't rip off Batman. What if he wears white?
He's the opposite of Batman. He's Negabat.
Yeah, exactly. So
but he's also all about nighttime and scaring people. And
and that's actually a huge part. And I didn't know how deep he went into fear. Because of how much fear ties in with
fear might
Khonshu's,
be the other thing. Khonshu,
yeah, it could be because it's such a huge thing in Khonshu's ideology for what he wanted Mark Specter to be doing. Was instilling fear, which is apparently, and this was my favorite part. It's the reason why he wears such light colors. The silver and white motif is so people can see him coming and be afraid.
They should know me and fear me.
Yeah, like Batman blends in with the darkness. It kind of helps him out, and he uses the darkness. Moon Knight is kind of like, fuck that shit, see me.
To be fair, Batman is quote-unquote human, and also, you know,
loosely
doesn't get a god reviving him every other run of the comic.
Yeah.
Because Khonshu's brought him back. This dude's the Optimus Prime of Marvel characters. He's come back like 3 or 4 times, and one of them... I'm going to go into some of his power stuff now.
Yeah.
Was the fucking Phoenix Force.
I didn't even know that one.
Oh, yeah. He was the avatar of the Phoenix Force for a while.
Holy shit.
So, like, when we say, like, he's not like Batman because he actually has powers.
That would explain why when I was... Because, like, I knew his power set as, like, super strength, super speed, super, endurance.
Yeah.
And it depended on the phases of the moon. It waxed and waned. Where no matter what, even at, like, a new moon, he was still super powerful.
He was lift 1,000 pounds at the new moon when there's no moon, but it's nighttime. And when there's a full moon, he could, like, bench press a building or something.
Yeah, it's like he was crazy powerful then. Yeah. But so it definitely waxed and waned. So I remember that, and I remember him having all of that.
Yeah.
And then it was like he also had flight and energy absorption and lightning redirect. And I was like, when the fuck did he do that?
Some of those are still Khonshu, just a different run.
Yeah.
There's like a whole period of time where he was like, the Phoenix Force was like, fuck Jean Grey. You're it now, man.
I want this crazy son of a bitch.
And he went from Phoenix Force, like he died again or something else happened. He like rejected it.
I mean, that's what mostly happens to people that are the Phoenix.
I mean, they kind of, the Phoenix Force is all about murdering off the people.
Burns through the people.
And Khonshu was like, you know what? I still like the cut of your jib, and picked him back up again.
I know you dropped me for a little bit.
Look, I know we fought, baby, but why don't you come back to the moon side? Yeah. It was just...
It's like, I know you left me to go to RCA, but you know what? God. RCA, they're sons of bitches. I still want you on here.
Yeah. Like, look, I could give you the moon strength all the time. Like, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Now, his power set is incredibly unreliable.
Yeah, which is why I think they phased it out. Yeah, and he's now just regular guy.
So they still have certain things he has, but his powers have jumped all over the place. I mean, like you were saying, like the flight, energy absorption, lightning redirection, super strength, super speed, endurance, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He's cycled through those most of the time. Those have been like, and like the phase of the moon thing's been a kind of recurring theme.
Yeah. Which I've always liked.
But like how strong it is depends, and then sometimes he's just human. Like there's a whole period of time where Khonshu was like, "No, go fuck yourself," and he was like, "I'm still Moon Knight.
I'm just gonna make all this stuff." He had like he made his costume. Like his costume was inspired by the cloak.
His costume with adamantium.
He upgraded to adamantium.
Yeah,
it at first was just Kevlar.
Yes,
he was just wearing Kevlar. He's like, I'm just gonna be a bulletproof guy with a bulletproof vest. And then he was like, I need more.
Yeah,
and then lined it with adamantium.
Interwoved it with adamantium.
Yeah,
he made a ton of different stuff. He's used actual magic stuff. Like some of his things are actually like
like I know more recently he's using like an Ankh.
Yeah, I was excited.
And the Ankh like absorbs magical power, I think is what it is.
It's like his protection, because he definitely delves into like the weird magic-y god side of stuff.
Yeah, because as of what I know, the run of the comics that he's in right now, he's fighting gods.
I mean,
like
that would
deities.
Make sense to me,
that's what he's battling right now. From what I've looked into, I don't have time to read comics anymore.
We were just talking about
that.
It's
really it's upsetting.
Comics are expensive and time consuming, and I've got like bills to pay.
I have a job, and then when I'm not doing that, I have 3 shows that I produce. I don't have time to read.
Yeah, let's not mention your daughter.
Yeah, I mean that's all the time.
Your time is gone.
Yeah,
I don't even have that. I have a cat and 2 or 3 jobs, and I still don't have time for comics like I used to, which is super depressing.
Yeah, it's an upsetting thought, but I mean, we still have the love for it, which is why the internet is our best friend.
There's some, and if you like really intricate rundowns on comics, I'm gonna pimp a channel that's not mine.
Go for it.
I just love this channel. There's a channel hosted by Rob, this guy Rob, called Comics Explained. And he's amazing. He gives.
I've seen a few videos about it. Yeah,
he's really good. If you like breakdowns on comics, hit this channel up on YouTube. You look for like anyone you're interested in. He gives a really good breakdown. He does update videos when there's new stuff.
I think I've done that for a few, because like I told you, most of my knowledge comes from me just being like, I like what that character looks like. I'm going to deep dive and read every single thing that I can. So I watch all the videos and stuff, so I probably have seen that.
When there's someone, I'll do the same thing. When there's someone I get interested in, I usually like dive into his channel, and then like from there, the like recommended video tree is like more and more obscure, and I get different views on things. But his is a really good jumping off point for people.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So I think we covered how he became Moon Knight pretty well.
Yeah, well, so we got the Moon Knight ideal.
Yeah.
He is roughly, give or take, the avatar of Khonshu, god.
Yeah,
Egyptian god of moon and darkness.
And the Fist of Vengeance and things like that.
The Fist of Vengeance, yeah.
But what he ended up doing is he ended up taking his money that he made, his blood money.
Oh, yeah, so he made a lot of money being a mercenary.
Yeah.
And
basically just a hired murderer.
Yep.
Because he feels, that's a huge bit of his character. Unlike Batman, who's trying to get vengeance.
Vengeance.
He's trying to
Batman's trying to get that vengeance.
Trying to get that vengeance for his parents.
I'm the knight. I am vengeance. Y'all gonna find out.
I need Southern Batman in my life.
Oh my God,
now.
no! Please, God, no!
But no, so he's trying to get vengeance for the murder of his parents, and making sure that never happens to anybody ever again, even though he fails, because it still keeps happening.
Yeah,
Moon Knight, Mark Specter has done so much bad stuff.
Oh yeah,
he's just trying. That he feels bad for it. He's trying to make up for it and trying to punish the people that are still doing that bad stuff in terrible ways.
Yeah. So one of the big ones is Set, the god Set.
Yeah.
Is the opposite, the enemy of Khonshu.
Yeah.
Khonshu is constantly pushing Mark to kill Set and the people that are like working for him. And I think in recent comics, I'm pretty sure they've doubled down on the Mark's taken an oath not to murder anymore. But but it's interesting because they've gone this like. The recent ones are like, he's a hero and he's taking an oath not to murder. Yeah. But there's a god in his head, or, I don't know, his own crazy thoughts.
Because him and Khonshu are constantly at odds.
There's a reason it's been on and off for so long. Yeah. It's because they don't get along.
Because he's like, I don't want to kill people no more. And Khonshu's like, that's the best way.
Yeah.
The best way to stop somebody is to murder him.
Take out his kneecap, and you're like, what?
Exactly. Yeah.
Khonshu's about that murder.
Because think about it, he's an Egyptian god. That's Old Testament.
They were not the kind
that's
that fuck
eye
around.
for an eye kind of shit. Yeah.
And he's a Marvel Egyptian god, which are drastically more hyper violent than most others.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting dynamic because they also double down on that. Like, is he talking to Khonshu? Or is he talking to himself?
Himself. And that's a huge part of his character is his DID, the Dissociative Identity Disorder, which is what we talked about and mentioned at the top. Because that's actually, I think, my favorite part of his character.
Oh, yeah. It's super interesting. I love that they went there with a character.
Yeah.
And it makes... this one of my favorite things to read about Deadpool, when I'm reading Deadpool, is the different voices. You get the different aspects of Deadpool, and you get that commentary. This doesn't quite go there.
It doesn't go that far.
When he's one person, he's one person.
Yeah.
But
you can clearly tell that he's not always
going
that
from
person.
Moon Knight to the cabbie to the financier to Mark Specter is interesting. Drastically different.
Yeah.
And like... Which, by the way, why are all his friends only hanging out with the financier? What's going on there, huh? Y'all only want the money? What's happening here? His girlfriend lives in the mansion, not with Jake, the cab driver?
Yeah, I mean, who wants to live in a little tiny shithole apartment when you can live in a mansion?
That's true. One of his best informants, by the way, is a homeless man who's also kind of like...
Who wasn't always a homeless man. Like, he was something... I forget what he did.
People don't start as homeless people,
That's
Jared.
True. But no, he was
Lots of people were not always a homeless man. They are people. They do just have families and stuff to start.
You don't get like a choice right after leaving the hospital. Be like, do you want to live in a house or not a house?
It's not character creation, and they're like, I choose the homeless path, and then that's what they do. There's usually a process before that. I played
too many RPGs. That's what it is.
His Fallout edition. Is he homeless? Yeah, this one's going to be homeless. This gives me a perk on survival.
It would.
Yeah.
And street smarts.
Street smarts.
You need those street smarts.
Oh, my God.
-2 to charisma, but you got them street smarts.
The -2's for smell. Fucked up. I'm sorry, Lord. I apologize.
It's fine. It's true.
I was defending the homeless right until I made the smelly joke.
Exactly. But yeah. So and then there's also his friend Frenchie.
Yeah, Frenchie.
His helicopter pilot.
His pilot when he was in the Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then became friends and continued through.
And he's been in love with, married to, dating. What's her face? The other one.
I forget her name. But no, he's married to her now.
Yeah, he's married.
Yeah, like they're legitimately married.
They're legitimately married, not fake married.
Well, I mean, Well,
is she married to him or is she married to Jake?
Is she married to Steven? Is her last name Grant?
Maybe her last name's Knight. And her first name's like Lola Knight or like
Lola Knight.
Misty Knight. That's a porn star name.
That is a porn star name. Yep. That's bad.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So
I'm pretty sure she's Specter, right? Like she's married Mark Specter.
I feel like she did marry Mark Specter directly.
Yeah.
Like I think she's married to the Prime.
Yeah.
The Prime personality.
To clarify something, he made the different names because Mark Specter had a long history with the government and people of murder. So
and just terrible things tied to that name.
So when he came back to the U.S., he made the Stephen Grant. Stephen Grant, thank you. Last names keep slipping my mind. His entrepreneur, financier, Stephen Grant. I don't know why I gave him that like southern. My name,
I'm vengeance.
My dearest Moon Knight. It is I, Stephen, your other personality. I have come to inform you that the Moonmobile is too expensive. Please stop blowing it up.
You might want to take an Uber to the next crime.
You may want to Uber to the next Avengers meeting. Sincerely, Steven. Moon Knight sitting there going, this motherfucker right here just
perfect cursive.
Did he seal this with wax? What? Where do you even get that nowadays?
Yeah, exactly. He's that rich.
He is that rich, yep.
He has a drawer full of just wax.
He's like, this is gold flake wax. And he's telling me the moon, which, by the way, he has a moon, like a moonmobile or whatever. He has
tons of anything that Batman has, he has.
But no, his moon thing, like that, it's like a legit, like, it's like a weird crescent-shaped jet thing, but it looks like a B-Wing from Star Wars.
Yeah.
It is awkward.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the reason why he created Stephen Grant, was to make cool shit to use as Moon Knight.
To be his Bruce Wayne to his Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he was like, I also need to, going back into the same thing I was talking about. He's like, I also need to be like, I need to know what's going on.
I have to have my ear to the streets.
Underbelly. And so he made Jake Langley? Lockley. Last names, man. Lockley.
It's because I said Langley.
Yeah, you did. You fucked me up. He's made Jake Lockley to be like, you're a cab driver, because nothing's seedier than cab drivers.
How are they going to do that now?
Because there's no... He could be an Uber driver.
He's going to be an Uber driver?
He's going to be an Uber driver.
He's going to be an Uber driver that sticks to just the shitty parts of the city.
Yeah, he's going to be like constantly just hovering around Harlem. He's in New York, right? Marvel? He was on the West Coast for a while. I think he started in New York, then he went to the West Coast. Now he's back. I don't know.
We're just gonna say New York. Everything happens in New York.
There's still lots of cabs in New York.
Yeah.
So like he was like, I'm gonna be in it with the ugliness of the world by being a cab driver. Yeah. And it's like, are you sure that's the...
Be like, I feel like your connections in the underworld from when you were a mercenary could probably work perfectly fine.
Maybe, but he does make lots of informants, like the homeless guy we were talking about. And he ends up like having a really big network of like friends in this like dark, seedy underside. That's how he keeps his ear to the ground.
So each of these altars, which is what it's referred to when you have DID, each one of the altars, they do.
I'm glad you clarified, because you said altars and I went like to gods. I did not.
Alter personalities is what is the, because on top of like researching Moon Knight, I was like, you know what? Let me research dissociative identity disorder, just so I have like when I'm speaking about it, I'm not speaking from my ass and just being like, because you're crazy and you got multiple personalities.
My name's Jared and I hate people that have personality or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to be like that, so I wanted to make sure that I was using correct terminology and I understood a little bit more.
I'm glad, because I don't know shit.
Yeah, so basically...
Preface, I didn't even research any of that. I don't know. I have like vague knowledge of it. I know a person with it, and I just try to like roll with it.
You're like, I'll talk to whoever.
I don't care.
Whoever you say you are, I will be friends with you.
I'm not gonna, what's your name right now? Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and it normally springs from trauma, which Mark Specter has tons of. Yeah. And the different personalities are referred to as alters, because they're not like different people, and they're not just like like fake personalities. Yeah. They exist out of a need to avoid whatever's traumatic in the past. Yeah. Which is what makes Moon Knight's other personalities, which is what makes the whole DID thing like a little bit sketch and a little bit sus.
They've done a couple story arcs about it where like
because most of the time your alters don't know about each other.
Yeah.
And you can't openly pass information from one to the, like, you can't just be like, now I'm Jake, and everything that Jake learns, Mark knows. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. There's supposed to be a wall.
They've done whole story arcs about like psychologists being like, you don't just develop it like this.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
you don't choose to develop it. Your brain just goes, I need it now. And so in some cases it did make sense. He was trying to, like, the traumatic experience, other than being his entire past,
murdered.
Yeah, and being murdered and stuff like that. So Stephen Grant was a necessity. But he did create it. So he was actively a part of creating his alter. Yeah. And it just fits his needs.
Now there you could go in this in another direction. Like, yeah, he made Stephen Grant, but maybe Stephen Grant was there, and that's what inspired him to make that personality, as far as like legal documentation and stuff goes. Like I said, it's how deep he is into DID and the personalities,
and what's
changes by the story arc.
That is very true, because there are some times where it's just mildly talked about, where it's like, this is just a plot device, and we found out about multiple personality disorder, and we're gonna throw it in here, because that's what it was called when they first created it. It was just multiple personality disorder. So they were just like, oh, that's a cool concept, let's just tag that onto here. And then there were other times where one of my favorite instances of showing his mental state and the state that he's in is, he had an entire time where there was an entire run of comics where he thought he was working with Captain America and Spider-Man and somebody else, and they were just in his head.
Seriously? That's a thing?
Like, he legitimately thought that members of the Avengers came to him and were like, we need you. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. And it's them, like, and sometimes like Captain America would be would be very overly prevalent in a Moon Knight comic.
Yeah.
And what it actually was he was kind of thinking whatever Captain America was doing, he was doing it, and he was just attributing it to Captain America.
So that's a whole nother level. That's schizophrenic, like full blown schizophrenic. So they do, like I said, they double down sometimes on that whole like he's got mental instability. And sometimes he's not. Sometimes it's like, no, he made these identities. They're not really different personalities. They're just who he made for the scene kind of thing. And it fluctuates. So
it's just him being a professional, knowing, you can't have a millionaire walk into a back alley and start asking people questions.
No one's gonna talk to the cab driver that's worth $1 billion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever. So they can go a lot of directions with it with the new show. I'm like we were saying, I'm pretty stoked to see
what they do,
how far. Maybe they'll do exactly what like we were saying. Maybe they'll start with like he made these personalities for this, and then they kind of develop into
and it legitimately they start fleshing themselves out. I kind of feel like they might do that.
You said this yesterday, and he's like, "What?" Like that's Or they could start slowly hinting at it. They could make Moon Knight. Oh, and then he has a whole nother one. By the way, he has a whole new thing. His newest thing is the detective thing.
Oh
he's like the.
I didn't know that was like an alter for him. I thought that was
just... It's not an alter person. It is a updated personality on Moon Knight.
Oh, okay.
So the Moon Knight personality, I think I could be wrong.
Because I know it. Like when you're reading about him, one of the main things that talks about is that he is a detective. That he's an amazing detective. Yeah.
The new Moon Knight personality is Moon Knight. It's just that now he's like in a white suit.
Oh yeah, with the
with the crescent on his mask, and it's all white mask, and no more caped hood, and he's like a detective. Like a detective. The cops call him, and he comes in and like fingerprints and shit.
Yeah,
he's like a detective.
Oh damn.
And that's kind of where the Moon Knight's in. So they could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, just because it's such a good base.
They have a really good. This is a really good thing to do. To double down on a psychological thriller, kind of hero.
I don't see them throwing the Marvel Cinematic Universe comedy into Moon Knight. It's going to be a much more serious show.
I hope they go serious.
Yeah, because I feel like they're probably not going to be as hyper violent as Moon Knight can be. Because I mean, just to give you an idea of when we say Moon Knight has killed people, he's killed people.
Are you going to talk about the face guy?
No, I'm not. You can talk about that one. I was going to talk about when he impaled a guy on a machine gun.
Yep.
And then he threatened to cut off his face. Mm-hmm. And then Khonshu was trying to tell him to cut off his face. Then he was going to, and then he stopped. Yeah.
One of his recurring villains, he did cut off his face.
It was Bushmaster, right?
Yeah, it was Bushmaster. Yeah. Bushmaster was which is such a pervy name. Bushmaster was the guy that killed Mark Specter, or almost killed Mark Specter the first time. And then Mark Specter gets revived by the Khonshu, fights him, beats him, and defaces him.
Yeah.
And then
just straight up Nick Cage.
Yeah, face off. And then that man continues to be a villain for multiple years throughout all the different ones.
Yeah. Another crazy thing that Moon Knight does, and it's funny because it's in that detective costume now, is he carves crescent moons into people's very Batman v Superman.
I was thinking very where he was Bastards.
I'm just talking about where Batman was branding people. It's very much like that. I'm
pretty sure they stole that brand thing from Inglourious Bastards with the swastika.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's kind of what it's like. Like that's kind of a recurring thing they started to do in comics, like branding villains.
And it's just to once again instill fear. It's just to make people more afraid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I was like, Jesus Christ, Moon Knight
he's hardcore.
He's a very
I don't think
he's
Disney
not Punisher level, but he's getting there.
I don't think Disney Plus is going to go quite that hard, but I think they could really double down on the psychological thriller aspect of it.
And I hope they do. I really,
I'd be very excited.
It's a really interesting, especially since Doom Patrol came out and they had a character with DID. What else? There was a Marvel one that came out where somebody else had DID. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was done well. I know that. So there are.
Well, did you see not Glass, the one that came after it?
Oh, Split.
Split. But so there was. Oh, it was Glass. It was Unbreakable, Split, and then Glass.
Yeah.
With Split,
I love all three of those movies.
Yeah, they're all good. And Split, and then specifically, I'm thinking of Glass, but even in Split with like James McAvoy, Professor X, but as the DID, that he did that amazing.
That was incredible.
Yeah,
that was. I think I love James McAvoy as an actor, general, and I think pretty much everything that he's done has been incredible. But I think that was was his best performance.
Probably. It was
like that blew me away.
It was way up there performance wise.
The different accents, the different ways of standing.
He really doubled down on like embracing these different characters and did it so well.
Yeah.
I think Oscar Isaac could do something very interesting if he really tried for like...
Oh, yeah. If he tried to capture some of that...
into like these different personalities.
I think he can do it. And he's pretty good with like different... like changing his voice up a little bit. Yeah, like he can do that.
Think about like Poe Dameron and his flippantness.
Yeah.
Compared to like Apocalypse.
Yeah.
You know,
or compared to Blue from Sucker Punch.
Yeah, exactly.
They have very different cadences, very different ways of speaking. Yeah. I mean, and you can hawk that up too. Well, it's his job; he's an actor. Yeah, but he's very good at what he does.
Good at that. Yeah,
yeah, and I think he can. I think he can knock it out of the freaking park.
The right guy for it. I'm pretty stoked to see how they go with it, what direction they take. Like, I will definitely be watching for this show.
Oh, yeah, and I definitely will. I think much like what we said with Spider-Man, where when more information came out. So if you guys want to, like this, let us know. And, once the trailer drops, maybe we'll do like a trailer breakdown and like do a full,
that'd be great,
do a full dissection of that.
Oh, yeah. And if any of you have, are big Moon Knight fans, you have insights into it, please. Reach out, let us know. Well, I'd love to just chat with someone that's a big Moon Knight fan and like find out their perspective on it, because Moon Knight's kind of one of those, he's known but he's not well known. Yeah. And there's it's a kind of a niche superhero that just never he's made it into big,
gaining more popularity, but he's never been super popular.
He's been in lots of big stuff, but he's never been the center of big stuff.
And this is going to be a fun thing to see him as a center of something big.
This could propel him into mainstream notoriety.
Because, if you think about it, Iron Man wasn't the most popular
Iron Man
superhero.
Was nowhere near the level of popularity he is now till RDJ and Jon Favreau did Iron Man #1.
Exactly.
And blew it out of the park.
I mean, that's the good. I mean, a lot of people hate on these superhero movies and superhero shows, but they are revitalizing characters. Batman was taking a real hit in popularity until Michael Keaton, donned the cowl. I mean, it's just how it is. It's like these movies, if they're done well.
George Clooney has openly apologized for his Batman a few times.
Bat nipples. But it's like, if they're done well, they will take a character that has had a long life and they will breathe new life into it, and they will help propel it, forward for years. Yeah. So and that's what I hope happens with this new series.
Yeah, I really hope they double down and make this like the series that jumpstarts a Moon Knight kind of thing. Yeah, brings in some of these other ones, like it makes other Disney Plus shows that are hitting some of these more obscure characters that would be like their own sort of, not necessarily MCU, but MCU, bring them into
it's
kind
of like how the Netflix universe was kind of creating itself, like with Daredevil and the Defenders and everything Jones like that. And all that. Yeah, so something maybe even if they can ever get the licensing and bring that over,
that'd be great.
That would be a really great one to combine.
I think they're going to get it eventually. I'm pretty sure.
Charlie Cox said that he's signing up, that he's signing on to do more.
I loved the Daredevil one.
It was so good.
I like Jessica Jones. I couldn't really get into.
Iron Fist took me a little bit. Luke Cage, I was okay with. Iron Fist, the second season, I got into more. Yeah.
I loved. See, Daredevil lost me after the Kingpin. The Kingpin is what made Daredevil season 1 for me.
Yeah. But then the Punisher came in for season 2. So I mean, it's really difficult to hate on anything for Daredevil because it was all done so well.
Yes, super well. So, but this is kind of getting into hopefully a little bit more of the actual like superhero motif, where like, because that whole series with them was kind of like low-key superhero. There's no really costumes other than Daredevil and towards the end. Yeah. It was like kind of like a low-key, lower budget make of these shows.
Yeah.
Moon Knight should be
this is like legit
We're
superhero at this point. Yeah.
And Disney Plus, I mean, it's Disney, so it's all the money in the world. They're probably going to limit their budget to some extent, but
I mean, if it goes
well, think of the budget like Mandalorian was working with.
Yeah.
Mandalorian was amazing, and they didn't have a huge budget. They just did it well. I'd really like to see something like that.
Definitely.
But hey, thank you for listening. Yeah, let us know if you're a big Moon Knight fan. If you want to talk about the stuff when it comes out. If you're a big Oscar Isaac fan. If there's something we missed with
reach out. Let us know. You can reach out to us on Instagram and also on Twitter. On Instagram, we are Talk_Shonen. And on Twitter, we are just Talk Shonen. And you can find us audibly, I guess.
Audibly. You can find us in the SoundClouds.
In the sound variety, anywhere that you find podcasts. And you can find video versions on youtube.com/Rum Runnas Entertainment.
Thank you for listening. I'm Turtle.
I'm Jared.
Let your nerd flag fly.
And embrace your fandom.
Holla.
Peace.